Mob Psycho!
Psycho.
Bruh.
This episode. Okay, so
Before you get into your manga-only Master Race complaints, let's start with the anime-only person, and then we can go into that, okay?
all right.
So, just purely, I'll say, like, it was a very emotional ride. A couple little aesthetic choices that I love that they did. I love that every time it was in that world, they had the black bars on the top and the bottom. It kind of just made you feel that something was off, something's different. I loved that. I loved the scene. One of my favorite scenes, I probably think my favorite scene in this entire episode is when he's standing up, you know, he's like, stand up, fight back against them, right? And he's just like, what did I ever do to you guys? I can't think of a single thing. and that really just got me, because I'm like, a lot of times that really is the case. Like, people that are just shitting all over you for no reason, and you're like, have I ever done anything to you? And especially with Mob, he's such a neutral ground person. He doesn't fucking stand out in any way. So, like, for him to just be like, I literally can't think of a single fucking thing I've ever done to you fuckers. Like, oh, I love that shit. Scenes, the fight scene was fucking insanity. Like, again, what I come to expect from Mob Psycho, where they're just fucking flying around like nuts. Like, wow. Now, and again, so with Thurman here, he's read the webcomic, and I could tell even, I was like, this seemed to go pretty fast. I'm gonna guess that they skipped some shit, because even I was like, it seemed to be a little quick. Go ahead.
Red is on the fucking money. Now, I'm not saying this episode was bad. I just have a few issues with it. First of all, being the fact that they essentially rushed this episode, right? In the webcomic, I can spoil because we saw this part, it's slower paced, right? It's more meaningful in the webcomic because
it would be, yeah.
It takes you through the process, right? I'm a compare and contrast them, right? So in the anime, everything was going too quickly, like how he got bullied.
It was like really like jump, yeah.
Yeah, it was like everything that they did was too. As an anime, I was like, why? Like what? Like they skipped that. It kind of irked me because what made this arc so good was the build-up, right? Was the essential, how everything processed, how
right, going through it like with Mob, like literally feeling because he was like, oh, you've been here 6 months, and I imagine in the webcomic, we really felt that time that he was in there.
Yeah. Even though you don't really go through the 6 months, you feel that, right? Like how the girl who bullies, how she gets introduced was rushed. How like the part where she pours milk on him, that was skipped because she mentioned like, you said you like milk, right? They never mentioned that in the anime, but in the webcomic, that's the whole thing. Because how she introduced.
I was wondering where that came from. She literally said, you said you like milk. I was like, when? When did this motherfucker say that?
Yeah, right. So in the webcomic, she gets introduced just similarly. She's like, oh, hey, I'm from this family. That all the kids crowd around her. And then she does ask, like, he does say, like, what about Mob? And then the next day, her and Mob have this whole confrontation. She just literally puts them on blast, like, the first day. Like, the second day. She's like, why didn't you show up to my party? I invited everyone. Mob. And
so they kind of skipped the whole reason for her to start going after him.
Yeah, because what the anime failed to mention is that this is what she's like in real life.
Right. No. I mean, it did kind of mention that because, like, there was a really good scene at the end where he's like, I'm pretty sure he even asked, "Is this what you're like in real life?" And she kind of like sadly was like, "Yeah." You know what I mean? That was a good ass scene, especially her kind of like crying and being like, "I'm so sorry." But you're right. That would have been way more powerful if it was something he went through for like if this was like 2-3 episodes, I know, and before you even say it, I'm aware they're trying to rush everything into it, but I don't understand why they have to do that. Take your time. Like, if you need to make this whole arc as long as it needs to be, we don't care if there's 4, 5, 6 seasons of Mob Psycho. Take your time with it, that's what I'd rather them do. Because, like you said, hold on, do you mind if I finish my point here? Because, like, especially, like, the scenes, like, near the end where it was, like, it was kind of there was an emotional tone to it, right? Like, the music was playing and, like, her crying. And I kept sitting there thinking, like, this is good, and I can feel it's good, but I'm not having the same emotional response that I did in episode 1. I really was, like, sitting there thinking, like, man, like, I wish this affected me more. Like, it was a good episode, but it wasn't, like, really like, whoa, this is mind-blowing, it changed my perspective, yada yada, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of the reason is that I wanted to know her more, because when she broke down, it would have been way more powerful if we had like a way longer like run of it. I can agree with you on that for sure.
Because the breakdown in the webcomic was better too, because it just made me feel like the animation was great, and the episode was bad, but it's just how it felt extremely rushed. How she apologized, how she
it didn't feel earned.
Even the Reagan part, because they create a emptiness, and then they're all running out, and then Dimple is running out with them, and then he's like, Reagan, you're not coming too, you're not coming, and then Reagan has this whole speech about how, well, I'm using Mob, I trust Mob, blah blah blah. That felt way more impactful in the webcomic than in the episode, especially given the fact that the whole webcomic kind of, you had this eeriness that the anime didn't have, right? My biggest hype about this episode was it was going to copy and paste how the webcomic felt, how the eeriness, how you felt Mom's emotions, how the whole fight scene felt. But it's like how they did it kind of irks me in a way, because first and foremost, the scene where she first initially bullies Mom was fucking perfect. That's where it all began, right? And then the bullying afterwards kind of felt rushed. And then how Mob kind of like exploded a bit when Mogami kind of broke him was kind of rushed too, because it was behind the school building, and the cat part, and I believe they actually killed the cat beforehand, but in the anime they didn't kill the cat. So I'm just like, so
yeah, like I'm glad you bring this up, because I was starting to kind of like, I was a little sad about like how my reaction to this episode, because I really wanted to, like, everything felt like I should have had a higher reaction to it, but I just didn't get that, you know. And I think that it just should have been more impactful. Like there were moments where I was like, holy shit, like especially the moments where like the blood, the part with the blood where he gets like hit with the thing and then like the blood goes all over her face, like there was it was getting intense, but like you're right where it just didn't feel very earned, you know. Like I got the vibe, like it's like he said, it was like she is bullying you to set her status here, and I did like that, because like that's how we work, right? She came into the school and she literally says, oh, that's the punching bag, like, and that's kind of unfortunately how you get into cliques in school, right? It's like, okay, what's everyone else doing? In order to be part of the cool crowd, you got to do it too. So I kind of liked that vibe mixed with like Mob's whole, what did I do to you? I literally can't think of a single thing I've done to you guys. And it's just that Mob happens to be the person, just because of his neutralness, his basically not standing out. He's got a bit of Yoshihage Kira, except he's like an opposite Yoshihage Kira, where Mob is what Yoshihage Kira wants to be, you know, not standing out, etc., etc. Whereas Mob wants to stand out, but he just sucks at it. And I think that he's just kind of picked up as the weakest one because of his apathy and shit. So I liked that, but you're right that I feel like I'm definitely going to be picking up the webcomic. They're starting to sell it now in America, and I have to see this whole arc longer, because I feel like it should have been way more impactful for everything that happened. So yeah.
Even the infight, kind of how he shows off his 999 form. I feel like they kind of botched that too, because
why did he have like anime eyes? Is that like a joke? I didn't get it.
It's you'll understand towards the end. It's a very that form is the reason for that. It's extremely clear.
Fuck. Continue.
So my issue is how they kind of did it. First, even Mob's explosion for courage felt kind of shallow to me. Like in the webcomic, it builds up to it, and then it's just like, and then the narrator's like the opposite, boom, 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 and then boom, courage, right? And then it didn't really feel like you understood that Mom had courage. That was like the emotion that exploded at that
so
time.
That's what I was going to ask you. The question mark form. What was that? What was that?
That's
because let me just give you my guess first. Like he said that your vessel had been destroyed, right? So my guess about that was that was Mob's psychic power taking a form, not being held back by any physical form. I didn't really.
I can't say anything because that's a spoiler.
Okay, so, but like definitely, I don't remember the guy he was fighting though. He kind of like took note of that, like, oh, okay, there's some shit going on here.
Because in the webcomic, how it's done is that Mob is fighting off, but then like piece by piece, his body gets torn off, right, and then he gets eventually eaten. He doesn't really die from like the attack like it says in the anime.
Oh, is that why he was missing an arm in one shot?
Yeah,
bro, dude, it's like, you know what this feels like? It feels like they actually animated everything, but then they like literally went in and cut shit out.
Like
hold on. And the reason I say that is because like there are scenes, like you said, with the milk thing, and with just him randomly having one arm off. They weren't mentioned at all. They didn't change around anything to like explain that to us anime onlys. It was literally just like, oh, he's missing an arm for some reason, and oh, the milk thing, you know, like it's like they didn't even they cut around, but they didn't change anything to fit the cutting around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here, because I can since you saw the episode, I can show you the part.
Well, here, you don't got to do it now. I'm actually probably gonna at some point I'm gonna go in and read the whole webcomic. Probably after this season of the anime ends, I'll read the webcomic, honestly, because now if they're botching emotional scenes by Russian shit, it's time to read the webcomic.
Like because there's a lot of stuff that they skipped in the anime, and it didn't feel like it just felt rushed in my opinion. And the whole thing is that the way they did it, because he gets his parts torn off, that officially his body comes off, and then once his body comes off, the question mark come up, right? The question mark comes up, and he just completely destroys the world, right? Completely destroys the world.
Right.
And then after that, I get the quote saying, so this is what you truly are, type shit, right?
He said something about, like, this is, you know, now that your vessel is gone or something. Yeah.
So I'm, like, what's crazy to me is the fact that I don't know. I'm not going to complain about it. The episode was still good for what it was for anime only wise. The animation was great. I just feel like it feels out of place to just try to skip around, because what they're doing is they're trying to rush towards this arc that we see in the opening. Like,
yeah, well, see, and that's kind of the issue, right? Like, when you saw that arc in the opening, you were like, holy fuck, that's so many arcs from now. And then I was like, listen, man, that's not a good sign. They're going to skip some shit.
Man, it's just urgent. Other than that, though, other than the complaint I've had, the episode was great. A very great moments. A lot of great parts that were very well animated. I just feel like they didn't really need to rush it. I'm gonna be honest.
So, any parts that you liked that you want to compliment before we end off, or?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So the fight scenes was amazing. They did make them longer, which I can always appreciate longer fight scenes.
Right, of course.
The fights were great. It's really well animated. I also liked. I did like the ending part, even though it felt rushed. I do like.
Yeah, during the credits with the music playing, that got me feeling. Actually, I did want to mention that too. I loved Reagan's little thing about how he's like, "You're better off working for me than becoming like rich and famous," right? And you know that's a great comment, because it both seems kind of at the same time. It can seem douchey but good at the same time, right? So it seems douchey in the sense that he's just trying to hold on to Mob to use him, but at the same time, I actually agree with Reagan, because you know, like, power and fame can bring someone to ruin. Power and fame can make someone unhappy, you know, like, so like sometimes I've seen people that are power and famous kind of long for the simple life again. And Mob strikes me as someone who always kind of wants to have that simple life. Like, he wouldn't want fame or power at all. And I honestly think Mob would generally be happier sticking with Reagan than if he were to go out and be a famous psychic. So I think what he said there was actually correct.
Yes, definitely. Because overall, it's just it just feels nice. It felt rewarding a bit, right? Because I love I can't express enough how like you could definitely they brought up the big gun for this episode,
Oh yeah.
and I do appreciate the animation very much, especially during the fight scenes, during the after the parts where Mob's like she's proof and Mogami's proof that I can change and there can change and shit like that. So overall, wasn't a bad episode. It just needed some tweaking.
I think what I'll say too is like with anime like this, every once in a while you run into an anime like this where it's gonna like skip some shit to try to rush it in. I look at anime like this less as an adaptation and more as a clip show of your favorite moments, right? So it's less of like it's really not going to be an adaptation, Mob Psycho. It's going to be, you know, a bunch of cool moments animated from the series, but it's really not an adaptation because you're not getting everything, right? So in order to change your perspective and change what you're like, you know, not be disappointed in the future, see it more as someone's coming in and saying, I'm going to animate the best moments from Mob Psycho rather than an adaptation, because that's really what it is. They're just going to animate little snippets of cool moments, but it's not going to be a full adaptation. Because that's just kind of what it is, unfortunately. I don't know if that's a budget thing, because obviously they're putting 110% effort into this entire anime. But I don't understand why they couldn't do the same thing they did with My Hero Academia, for example. They're not skipping shit in My Hero Academia, so I don't understand why they couldn't do that. You know, like I understand when you first started the anime, they kind of had to jump right into it because Mob Psycho has a slow start. But at the same time, now that it kind of has a fan base, I wish that they could slow down and really. Like, it's all about, it's a very fine line, because as you and I have been complaining recently, My Hero Academia's manga recently has been too slow pacing, but, like, I feel like they could get the balance a little bit better than this, especially in moments like these. This is one of the most intense arcs I can imagine, you know, and it just doesn't seem like this would be, if you want to skip some of the slice of life shit, I get that, but this seems like it really should have been fully done, you know?
Yeah, it would have been way more impactful if they didn't really rush it. Because it's funny too, because even you, someone who hasn't really read the webcomic, says it felt rushed, then I can only imagine.
Oh yeah,
I can only imagine.
Bro, well, Chibi's already dick riding, bro. Like, I love Chibi, but like he's now known as the king of dick riding in our comment section. My Hero Academia, bro. The fucking comment, I got like 3 different comments, so it's like, oh, thank God someone's not dick riding the fucking series like Chibi over here. Chibi's thumbnail was literally like, Mob Psycho saves anime. It's so good. This is like the anime messiah. Oh my God.
So, this is gonna be Code Chaos versus the anime world right now. So yes. It's gonna be Code Chaos versus the anime world right now.
Listen, fan base. Hello, fan base. I love Nux. By the way, Nux Taku. One day, man, if I could work with Nux Taku. Have you watched any Nux Taku?
Nope.
Dude, no, I love his voice. He's like, why, hello there, fan base. Like, he's just so exaggerated. I love him. But no, I'm waiting for the time when we're big enough where we can start, like, joking anime beefs. I'm so ready, bro. I just want to be able to I want to be able to be in a world where I'm like, Chibi, see you dick riding My Hero over there, and then for me to go over to his video and like 5-10 comments like, oh, dick riding. That's what I want.
That's what we need. Start a war.
Who would you start an anime war with, Thurman?
Bro, I'm starting with everybody. Everybody can come get it.
No, first step is to call out King of Lightning for his chopper hate. Who else? Who else do I have a beef with? Oh, James Hansen for his fucking Bleach obsession. My God. There's many. But it's gonna be a beautiful thing. I won't hold back, bitch. Amazing. Well, Mob Psycho, good shit. You know, hopefully they don't fuck up the pacing too much, but honestly, it's just like, at this point, I really am feeling like I should read the webcomic. I'm gonna keep, like, the anime is phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but, like, it always is a shame when you feel like they're skipping shit, and it's like, oh, man, come on. But yeah, final thoughts, Thurman?
None. Good shit.
Peace.